for you, and we thank him for your lives, and we thank him for the overcoming faith that he's given you to even want to develop passion or have a dream or to be inspired. Before you can move and act to do those things that Tony told you to do, there's some things you have to understand. Three things. I'm going to do this fast. Here's the first thing. You have to believe wholeheartedly. In other words, you got to have an unadulterated, unequivocal, unwavering, water-walking faith. If you don't have faith, if you don't believe, you'll never get the pictures. And if you do, they will be of no effect. There was a man named Abraham, and he was so awesome that God entered into a covenant with him. He was so faithful. He believed so much that what God promised to him would come to pass. God said, listen, because you believe, I'm going to make you rich than you can ever imagine. Not only am I going to make you rich, listen to this, I'm going to make your name great. When you walk in your shadow paths, people are going to say, that's Mr. Abraham. I'm going to number the stars after you, and nations will come and be your descendant. That means in BWW language, I'm going to give you a team with millions of people in it. And then God said, you got one thing that you have to do. You have to, in order for me to do that with you, you have to believe wholeheartedly. That means you got to throw yourself prostrate, and no matter what comes, you got to believe. Can you believe? Do you have water walking faith? To God be the glory for the great things that he has done. For it is he who has made us, and not we ourselves. Before the foundations of the earth, and before your mother and father ever got together, there was a commission and a conference in heaven, and it was ordained by the Trinity that you would, on this day, at this time, be in the midst of a powerful group of people. We thank God for you, but you should thank God that he has chosen you to lead. This is Spring Leadership. And if you do not think that you're a leader, we are here to tell you that men, you do not have to be patty cake, jump rope, mealy mouth, microwave, instant grits, pink panty wearing wusses. God has made you a man, and no man can change that. There is no woman on this earth who can be molested, abused, treated poorly unless you give your permission for that to be done. No man's back can be ridden unless he bows over to be a slave. Bill Britt is a freedom fighter. If you believe that you're in the wrong meeting, I encourage you to go back when you were a little girl and ask yourself today, would that little girl be proud of the woman that you have become? You are made for great things. You have been ordained. Bill Britt has established boundaries to protect you, men and women, in a way that you cannot be protected in corporate America. The world has taught us that boundaries are fences to take away our freedom. In this system, when you come to this leadership, we teach you that you should never ever insult anyone's ego. That's a boundary. That's leadership. We teach you that you should never bother or mess with, as Bill Britt says, anyone's spouse. That's leadership. We teach you to be accountable and never to mess with anyone's money. That's leadership. Those are boundaries that have been established to help you lead and to recognize the greatness of God in you. When somebody says to you that you were created in the image of a great God, people accuse them of being religious, attempting to proselytize you, of attempting to brainwash you. I got good gospel news for you today. They are absolutely right. It is our goal to wash all the garbage and the dirt and the filth that the world has sold you about yourself, and to tell you, you can make that little girl proud of the woman that you have become. This is a leading team. We're on Kevin and Beth Bell's team. We're on Rocky Covington's team. We're on Paul all in Leslie Miller's team. We're on Bill and Peggy Britt's team, and we're proud of the boundaries that they've established for us. I remember a story about two little boys who were very, very rebellious. They didn't believe that their parents wanted them to have fun. And so there was a place called Boulder Creek. And there had once been a mighty river there, but there had been many changes in the earth, and the river was now dry, and there were boulders in that river. Children were always advised to stay away from this river, but these two little boys, Johnny and Mark, went fishing one day. And being rebellious, not understanding that to be free, you had to be responsible, and their parents had given them the freedom of the day to go fish, and they decided to test the boundaries. They went to Boulder Creek, where they were not supposed to go, because it was a shortcut to the other side of the creek where the great fishing was. And they decided to go through the barbed wire fence where this creek, where the boulders were, had been wired off. And they went through the fence and they said, we'll just jump these boulders to get to the other side, and we'll be where the great fishing is. And those boys jumped onto those boulders. And the further they went, they began to hear a hissing sound. Hiss, hiss. And when they looked down, there were snakes all around them. And what they recognized was that under those boulders and in the mud, snakes had formed beds and pits. And they stood there and screamed and cried for help for hours, and no one came. There's a hissing after your freedom. There are snakes who will take you out. But I'm here to tell you that we are a part of a system that's established a strong foundation that says God will make your enemies your footstools. There are some people who don't want you to make it. You've been told that you're never going to amount to anything. Some of you, especially those of you who come from poor communities, have been told your mama didn't do nothing, your daddy didn't do nothing, and you ain't gonna do nothing. Well, I'm gonna tell you that's a lie from the very pits of hell. You lock arms with the person who invited you here. And if they're brand new, you lock arms with the person who got them here. Keep going up until you find somebody who can keep you away from false boulders and snakes and pits that are designed to destroy your life.